this firefighter. All three of them in the water. Rope around the neck. They got him.
They got him.
Great job. They got him. They hooked him there.
In the Philippines, two divers noticed a huge manta ray with a fishing line cutting through its wing. These guys removed the fishing line from the devilfish, and we hope that the wing will heal soon.
After a while, they were finally able to remove it and save the poor animal.
This fox got stuck in the fence and couldn't move until a man noticed and saved her.
Oh my boy, that was lucky, wasn't it? Oh, was it fun?
Several random people got together to try and save the dog's life, following the dog with a tarp beneath him in case he falls as he walks across the plank. That is what humanity should be all about, helping others at times when they need it the most.
This dog had a seizure, so the dog's owner supported the animal with her kindness. The dog is now fine. These guys came together to rescue a baby goat. Six ducklings were crying loudly as they fell through a storm drain. Getting them out wasn't easy, but the rescue team succeeded.
You'll see how an excavator was similarly used to rescue a bear. Got stuck in a gate grill, she was initially scared and acted aggressively toward them. But after 9 hours, the poor dog finally accepted that they were trying to help her. After a long rescue mission, they were finally able to set her free.
It's very difficult to capture a frightened deer, all the while holding on with one hand to stop you from falling. But in the end, this guy succeeded.
Ух ты, красавчик!
The kitten was trapped inside a burning house, and after inhaling too much smoke, the kitten was left unconscious. But thankfully, one brave firefighter spotted the tiny kitten and did everything in his power to save its life.
A seagull got caught on a fishing hook attached to the electric cables. Within 7 hours, the bird was rescued. But even after its liberation, it kept going back, hecking its saviors.
All started digging around the enormous creatures, creating a path and pushing them back into the ocean where they belong. A beautiful display of what we humans can achieve when we work together to make the world a better place.
Thank goodness this turtle was free, and hopefully it will have an easier life going forward. And here are Ukrainian firefighters saving a cat from a house damaged by a military missile. Just look how carefully the firefighter gets the animal out. The baby swan was stuck in the fence, but its mother had nothing to worry about. It was in good hands.
Into a deep well is saved by using a creative DIY method. Adorable little ducklings struggling to keep up with their mothers, so when these two ducklings couldn't jump up on the curb to follow their mama, they were lucky this kind man was willing to help.
And here's an incredible moment of a kitten being rescued a second before death. This story deserves its own animated film about Bambi's adventures. This baby deer was rescued from a fast-flowing river by several people who risked their own life. This 6-day-old elephant was abandoned by the herd due to illness, but the locals saved it. Look how grateful the animal is to them.
This giraffe was found with a tire stuck on its neck. These wildlife medics helped get rid of it and took care of the wounds too. An absolutely wonderful and brave rescue effort, but my only question is, how did the tire end up there in the first place?
It's still alive.
It's hard to say how long this heron was hanging on its own beak, fighting for its life. But now it's saved thanks to a kind fisherman who managed to free the bird using his fishing rod.
Wait,
This guy tried to explain to a deer how to get off the highway, and he succeeded.
atta boy, jump over.
Well, almost. Now he did.
Yay! Oh, look.
People found a baby monkey stuck under a sheet of insulation and returned it to its worried mother. The mother thought she had lost her child, but look at the relief on the mother's face when they're reunited. And a sloth mother and her baby were separated. A kind woman found the baby sloth and spent hours searching for its mother. Just watch the heartwarming reunion when they were finally brought back together. Magpies all got their heads stuck in a fence and were unable to free themselves. But today was their lucky day, as a man who was passing by stopped to free them. Husky pup choked on his food. It caused his heart to stop beating. But this kind-hearted man did everything he could to save him.
A whole rescue team was needed to save a horse that got stranded during a flood. Look at the way the horse greets them with so much hope, knowing that these people are here to help. And here's another example of an animal trusting a human when it needs help. Isn't it adorable? This dog came to people for help, hoping they would take the plastic off the animal's head. Look how grateful it is. In India, a donkey fell into a septic tank at a construction site. After being stuck in the sewage for 24 hours, the animal was very grateful to be rescued. The owner forgot to close the window, and the neighbor had to save the poor pet that got stuck in the gap. Dogs are like children. You have to keep a close eye on them. This poor baby bird was unconscious from dehydration after a severe heat wave, but a person got there just in time. The bird was too weak to drink, but it gradually came to. Sometimes the tide throws sea turtles onto dry land, and if they are upside down, they cannot flip over and get back into the water. This guy found a giant turtle on the shore and saved it by turning it.
Baby shark found himself trapped among the rocks and may never have seen his family again if it hadn't been for these surfers. They tried to simply push the young creature into deeper water, but they had to do much more to get it back home. The owners were nearby and jumped in to save the dog, who was struggling to stay above the freezing water. But a couple stumbled upon them and decided to help. After a while, they finally managed to separate the poor animals, who appeared to be unharmed, all thanks to the kind couple who spent a few minutes of their time sparing the lives of two helpless creatures.
Got stuck in the football net, and it took real effort to free it. Thankfully, there were no injuries and the cub was able to return to its mom without any problems. The osprey got tangled in a fishing line, and in addition, the hook injured its right wing. But despite the pain, the bird is trying very hard to get to the boat.
for several weeks, but the dog's life was in serious jeopardy and was in desperate need of help. Luckily, these guys finally managed to capture the stray dog using a fishing net and remove the plastic jar that was stuck on its head, saving its life.
When people build roads, they never think of the animals. And here are the consequences. This baby moose was entirely covered in asphalt. A rescue team came to its aid to clear off the moose's fur. This guy spotted a turtle in the middle of the road and saved it from being crushed, taking it to a safe place afterwards. People heard cries for help coming from a ditch, only to find a dying puppy with head trauma.
Animal by setting it free and giving it a drink.
This diver caught a fish, but a hungry shark stole it for itself. Unfortunately, it bit off more than it could chew, and as a result, the diver had to help the shark. What other option did she have? This little guy is still so young, but with a big heart. This tiny puppy had a very slim chance of survival when it was hit by a train. Thankfully, its cries were heard by people who saved its life. Here, people are delivering cows from mountain ranges to comfortable alpine meadows.
There, like these guys who decided to free the poor turtle.
In India, a baby leopard got into a huge well. It was rescued using a large net. Once it was back on dry land, the wet kitten ran away to its mom. Garbage often brings harm to wild animals. This duck got stuck in a plastic ring and lost the ability to feed. A woman noticed the poor bird and cut the ring off.
Now this firefighter revives a cat that had been rescued from the basement of a burning house. Just listen to the cat's meowing. It is very confused, but still so grateful to be alive.
The elephant approached the doctors of its own volition so that they could treat the string headache. Turns out someone shot the elephant in the head and the bullet got stuck in the skull. Just a fraction of an inch further and the animal would have been dead. The elephant had surgery and now it's doing perfectly fine.
Just watch how the elephant's family comes running to greet their baby.
I got you. Buddy. Hey, buddy. It's okay. It's okay, bud. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. You'll warm up quick.
Pakistani kid is very poor, and to make a living he sells plastic he finds on the streets. And yet he regularly buys milk for a stray cat.
Pounding as a firefighter made his way onto thin ice to save this dog from drowning. The firefighter almost fell into the water as well, but only seconds before the ice completely collapsed, they were pulled back to safety.
Couldn't get out of the hole, and thankfully, a man lowered a rope down to help the animal. It's a good thing that this fox was savvy enough to quickly realize how to get out. And here, a police officer came to a dog's aid when it got stuck in a burning SUV. Take a look at the way it expressed gratitude for its savior, its animals, just as much as it does people. Look at these cats, rescued and fed by this bearded dude that came to Urban. Turtle was in trouble being so far away from the water, but thankfully this guy was there to help.
This female loggerhead turtle had a net stuck so far down its throat that it made it difficult for the animal to eat or even breathe. But thankfully, the turtle found these kind people who were willing to help.
For food, 4 puppies got stuck in spilled tar. They couldn't move at all, but they still managed to cry for help. To clean the tar off their fur, people had to use oil and dishwashing fluid. And here's what they look like now.
Squirrel was rescued from a swimming pool. The situation seemed hopeless. Thankfully, the rescuer knew how to perform CPR on the tiny animal and brought it back from the brink of death.
This puppy lost consciousness during a fire, and this firefighter brought it back to life with CPR. Penguin escaped hungry orcas by jumping into a tourist boat. This person helped a deer whose antlers were stuck in the edges of the pier. Just look at the scared but grateful eyes of the animal.
And in shock. This kind woman took the cat to the hospital, and amazingly it survived and went on to live a happy life.
A bit of persistence and humans' best friend is saved. Have a look at the way this dog climbs into the boat to save itself. A man noticed an injured puppy in the road, and look how happy the mom was to get some help. This dog fell under the ice and had no way to save itself. Thankfully, the rescue team got there in time, pulling the dog out of the water. Now, all it has to do is dry off and warm up. This porcupine swam towards people so that they could help it get on dry land.
Oh, he's got me.
This guy found a seagull tangled in the fishing line and decided to save it despite the bird's attempts to fend him off. A couple of swift movements and the bird is safe.
This man saved the life of a poor turtle that had been flipped over by the tide. The turtle took a few seconds to catch its breath before going back into its home.
要什么鱼啊？你不能要鱼，你不能要鱼，你不能要鱼。要什么鱼啊？你咋回？你走了？你讲点道理行不行
Insects also approach people for help. Look at this praying mantis. It's not even scared. And here's what a true hero looks like. Watch this man risk his own life to get an eagle out of a swamp. This koala was stuck in a tree because of a flood. It was lucky to be noticed by people in a canoe. This mom cow was loudly calling for help because her calf fell into a hole. Thanks to its rescuer, the calf was reunited with its mother.
Kangaroo thanks its rescuers by shaking their hand.
Oh, well done.
Here, mountain bikers called a wildlife biologist to rescue a bull stuck in a mud pit. A small wild bird was hiding out from the 113-degree Australian heat in a car with people. And even once it felt better, the bird was not in any rush to leave its saviors.
At first, the frightened dog was wary, but the rescuer took his time to gain his trust until he was able to bring him to safety. The polar bear asked a man for help after getting its tongue stuck in a tin can, which prevented the poor animal from eating.
Лапами своими меня не трогай. Подожди, куда ты?
The man called for help, and after a long rescue mission, they were finally able to remove the tin can and save the polar bear's life.
And these guys saw an eagle standing on the side of the road, waiting for someone to stop, and this girl sacrificed a pipe to free a bird. A moose got stuck on a railway and people organized an entire rescue mission. In the end, the animal was saved and delivered back to the woods. But it doesn't look like it's in a rush. Almost like it's trying to say thank you.
Now, as the mother elephant regains consciousness, she realizes that her baby has been freed and they happily walk away together.
This cobra got its head stuck in a metal can, and despite the danger of this venomous snake, men helped the cobra and moved it to a place that was safer for other people.
Who got his head stuck between a fence and was trapped there for several hours. Thankfully though, these people finally heard the calls for help and freed the innocent animal.
And this elk came to people with the head of its opponent stuck to its antlers. Unfortunately, the operator was powerless. This guy saved a drowning sparrow, but he didn't expect the bird to get so attached to its savior that it would sit on his head.
But this little deer was very lucky to have been found by kind-hearted people. As they cut the fence and rescued the baby, its mother was breathlessly watching from only 30 yards away, waiting to be reunited. Because of the cruelty of many humans, the puppy was terrified when this man approached him. But this man wasn't like everyone else, and after gaining the puppy's trust, he took him home to live the happy and comfortable life he truly deserves. A heat wave, it's the stray animals that suffer the most, so this kind man decided to help a stray dog by giving it a quick cold shower to cool off.
安生，我就搞不懂了，这个楼是有多么的好玩啊！是有多好？你过来，你把脸给我伸过来，过来，安生。
Now that's what you call a quick reflex. Low tide, this sea turtle got stranded on the shore upside down, but it was very lucky to be found by these guys because high tide wasn't due for another few weeks.
This mother who performed CPR on a slightly bigger animal after a baby deer was found lifeless on the bottom of their pool. After a long rescue attempt, the baby deer fell down and got stuck in a fence. The mother struggled to free its baby, but these people heard the screams of the young fawn and came to their rescue. After a long mission, the baby deer was finally free and could reunite with his grateful mother.
Even sharks need help sometimes. This guy noticed a small beached shark and returned it into the water. The police officers saved these ducklings that fell into the drain. and return these babies to their mother.
This bat got electrocuted by flying into power wires and unfortunately died. Her little baby was still miraculously alive under its fur. The poor thing doesn't want to let her mother go, but luckily, it looks like she has a new mother now.
This monkey realized that humans are its only chance, and it was right.
Segura. Dá licença, Marcelo. Calma, calma, vai.
A cat nearly became a victim of a python, but the fearless locals saved it, and they were really risking their lives. A baby fox got its head stuck in a can and was desperately crying for help. Thankfully, the cub was rescued, and now it is safe.
Dog fell in this canal. A group of kind people came together to demonstrate what we humans can accomplish when we work together. And persisted, trying to gain their attention. Eventually, they decided to follow her, and it turns out she guided them to a pit where her baby was stuck. The people dug a path to free the baby elephant and save its life, all thanks to its brave mother who never gave up hope. Running around a neighborhood with its head stuck inside a plastic bottle. As the dog's breathing became more labored, he began to panic even more. But luckily, the anxious dog came across these kind people who were willing to help. Kind people who give water to thirsty squirrels during a summer heat wave.
These guys are not just railway workers, they are real heroes. They jumped off a moving train to rescue a chamois that was buried under the snow by a different passing train. And this dolphin swam right up to the divers in the hopes of being freed from a fishing line. Now it's free, but check this out. It's not in any rush to swim away, thanking its savior instead. Just listen to the heartbreaking cries of this scared, injured, and cold puppy. But when it realized that people won't harm it, the puppy settled down and calmly went to a clinic with them.
Sugar Glider had gotten stuck on the barbed wire and was desperately trying to free itself without success. The kind man stayed behind and helped free it so it could return to its home in the forest.
German shepherd from the river, several men, including people from a rescue squad, tried to get it out. After many failed attempts, the dog was finally saved and returned to its owner.
Fell into molten rubber and became stuck in the toxic mixture with only its mouth poking out for air. Workers followed the screams of the dog and spent 2 hours getting it out.
This guy heard a desperate cry from a ditch and realized that there's a living being in the bag. Turns out someone was very cruel to a grown cat.
安生，你别舔了，那是你弟弟呀，你舔它干嘛呀？一会儿把它头舔秃噜皮了。那你舔吧，反正你弟弟有蛋蛋，你没有。你没有。
She found herself in a horrible situation, and her babies were calling for her, wondering where their mother had gone. Luckily, these guys managed to get her out and clean her off, reuniting the mother with her babies.
This person got a baby monkey out from underneath the ruins and returned it to its mom. Just look at her reaction.
The brave men carry the dog out of the house and away from the dangerous smoke before they run back inside to check if anyone's left. went on their daily beach walk where their dogs love to take a swim, but they didn't expect something would go horribly wrong today. One of the dogs suddenly slipped below the surface and was about to drown. But thanks to the owner's quick response, the dog was saved at the very last moment.
A dog found itself in a water trap and would have drowned if it weren't for the rescue crew. Look at how obedient it is, knowing they are trying to help it.
The dog took a deep breath and finally began to breathe actively again. The firefighters gave the dog some water and covered it with a warm blanket. Thanks to their heroic actions, the dog fully recovered after a couple of days and is now back with his family. Colorful rubber fabric can become a death trap for sea turtles who easily mistake them for jellyfish. Just watch how this poor turtle was struggling to survive until it was found by these wonderful guys who didn't hesitate to help the dying animal. It may not look like he's saving the animal, but with the help of his axe skills, he's actually cutting around the calf to release the poor animal who's gotten its head stuck inside a hollow tree. Unfortunately, some people would probably let an animal experiencing heart failure die, but this man in India secured his place in our hearts by showing you should never give up.
Yeah?
Their safety to free a dangerous bobcat from a trap. Just look how confused the poor animal is when it realizes the human was just trying to help.
Abandoned van from the cold. It was negative 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Turns out, someone shot it in the leg, and the bullet fractured the bone. The guy who found the dog brought it with him and nursed it back to health. This poor puppy was seriously injured, and it was dealing with pain alone until the puppy was found by people. Unfortunately, it lost an ear, but at least it found a family and a happy life. A dolphin was beached, and as if that weren't bad enough, it was tangled in a net. Fortunately, the animal was quickly freed and returned into the water.
That squirrel was so stricken by heat stroke that it barely had any strength left in his body when suddenly a gracious man brought the squirrel some much-needed water.
Beautiful antlers can turn into a big problem, just as it happened to this deer. Thankfully, people didn't leave it in trouble.
Despite the danger, the family attempted to move their boat next to the bear and tried to get the jar off, and after several attempts, they were finally able to free the animal.
Let's go. We saved our little baby.
It was beached on one of the shores in Brazil. The animal spent almost 20 hours on dry land while people worked hard to get it back into the water. And this is an incredible show of friendship between a dog and an elephant. Check out how adorable they look playing in the water. Using an excavator, this guy rescued 3 ducks that were stuck in the mud. And this fox cub was loudly crying after getting stuck in some netting. At first, it was very frightened, but then realized that people were there to rescue it. Just take a look at such trust between an animal and a human. And Shepherd was standing on the fence, tangled in barbed wire and practically begging for help. Many people just drove past it, but thankfully there were caring and compassionate people who stopped to help the dog.
To the vet where he was treated for his injuries. Now he will soon be able to hop around the woods again, thanks to these wonderful people.
And here everyone deserves praise. The person rescuing the cat and the cat who understood the assignment. A tiny baby possum got stuck in the stream and was rescued by 3 people who then decided to have it as their pet.
This dog who got stuck in barbed wire and desperately tried to free himself, only making it worse. Even though they didn't know the dog, these kind people did not hesitate to save him.
This poor elk got so stuck in a snowed-in swamp, it couldn't move at all. When it was freed, it immediately ran to its friend, who waited patiently the whole time. What could this look mean? During a wedding, one of the guests saw that a dog needed help, so he came to the animal's aid. Later, he was joined by another person, and finally the dog was saved. Raccoon collapsed and it was trapped. Thankfully, 2 teenage brothers noticed it and managed to dig the animal out with their dad's help.
Hill and couldn't get up, a kind man saved the poor animal and carried it back to its mother.
It was dehydrated and sick. I think we should all carry water with us exactly for such occasions.